Alrighty, guys, we're back for Phoenix Red Deck Wins, and this is a Foundation Standard Brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. We have all four Flamewake Phoenix, 3 mana, 2/2, flying, haste, and this creature attacks each combat if able. That's okay, that's what we're trying to do anyways, right? It has Ferocious. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you may pay 1 red mana. If you do, return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Cool stuff, but in this deck list, we actually don't have any creatures power 4 or greater. We're completely relying on buffs to get there. Cards like Blazing Crescendo will help us out, right? Monstrous Rage also making the cut as a 4 of. So boosting our other Phoenix is going to be essential for bringing this Phoenix back. But we're not just relying on instant speed buffs. We also have Patchwork Banner in here too. This is a 3 mana artifact. When it enters, choose a creature type. You call Phoenix for this deck list, which is really cool. And then creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1. And then also you can tap it to add 1 mana of any color, which I do think is really going to come in handy in this deck list where we usually want to have extra mana open to be able to do things like bring Phoenix or 2 back from the grave. So cool stuff, man. Yeah, all 4 of them. We'll see if they do the thing today. Some other Phoenix that we actually have packed in, we have Bloodfeather Phoenix. This is a 2 mana 2/2 with flying. It can't block, unfortunately. But whenever an instant or sorcery spell you control deals damage to an opponent or battle, okay, you may pay 1 red mana. If you do, return Bloodfeather Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste until end of turn. Really neat, man, especially when we pair it with Grab the Prize. It's a 2 mana sorcery. As an additional cost to cast the spell, discard a card. Draw 2 cards. If the discarded card wasn't a land, then Grab the Prize deals 2 damage to each opponent. So you could totally discard Bloodfeather Phoenix to a Grab the Prize. This deals 2 damage to them, and then immediately spend that 1 red mana, bring the Phoenix back, and swing on in with haste. That sounds really cool, huh? So yeah, Grab the Prize as a 4 of, but then we do have other ways to actually get our Phoenix into the grave, like Sazacap's Brew. It's a 2 mana instant speed. You can gift a tapped fish. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you can discard a card, and then target player draws 2 cards. You're going to want to target yourself in this deck. If the gift was promised, target creature you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn, which, as we know, it's going to be kind of important to boost our creatures up. So yeah, all while packing the graveyard full of extra Phoenix and whatnot. Seems really, really cool. Oh, for the Bloodfeather Phoenix, we actually have to have other ways in here to hit the opponent's face with instants and sorceries, not just Grab the Prize, right? So of course we have some just burn. All 4 lightning strike. That should really do the thing. And then we have all 4 burst lightning too. So we're opting for burn that can also just double as removal as well. You have more Phoenix packed in, all 4 Phoenix check. That should do the thing. And then we have a couple of these Taurean Maulers on the top end here too. It's just 3 mana 2/2 changeling. So it's totally a Phoenix. And then whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So another great way to get a creature with power 4 or greater for the Flamewake Phoenix. 20 mana packed in. That should be enough, I think, especially when we're trading out so much. We're seeing extra things off the top with Crescendo. We're ramping with the banner too, kind of, sort of. So yeah, I think 20 mana will be fine. Honorable mentions. I thought about other burn. So Bolt Wave is a good one, right? I thought about more shock style effects like shock. Artist Talent almost made the cut. Lamplight Phoenix, not this time round. I don't think this is the right build for the Lamplight Phoenix, but I don't know, man. It is a pretty cool Phoenix, isn't it? Thought about some top end cards like Sulfum. That could have been cool. And Sunspine Lynx also almost made the cut. Okay, guys, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked, and see how we do. All right, right into that first game. What am I expecting from the build? I actually think it's going to be pretty darn good, guys. I have high hopes. Which is why I'm concerned. We'll see. We'll see how we do today, huh? All right, I'm gonna keep it. Golgari colors. Oh no. Okay. Well, the good news is, as long as it's not exile removal, we're not too concerned. All right, grab the prize of sorcery speed. Let's get the Phoenix into the grave and then focus on getting the Mauler above the Ferocious. Okay, not bad. Can go Patchwork Banner. Tear Asunder is definitely a card that they play. Maybe we just play the other Flamewake Phoenix, expecting spot removal here, right? It's going to be a cut down. That's fine. Yeah. So we have 2 Flamewake Phoenixes in the grave. Archfiend of the Dross is terrible news, bro. Holy cow. That is really bad news. Crap. Okay. Let's go Patchwork Banner. Call Phoenix. Because that's just so freaking cool, bro. Let's get Phoenix, Bloodfeather Phoenix down. It can't block. Holy cow. Thank you, opponent. What do we got? Saddle up. Whoa there. Whoa there. Alright. Alright. So Crescendo, of course, gets the Bloodfeather Phoenix above the Ferocious. At the beginning of combat on your turn. It has to be at the beginning, so we gotta get that. We can't, like, do a surprise with the Crescendo, but that's okay because we get to see more off the top, too, which might be something. Grab the prize of 1 for the extra Phoenix and 1... and 1 for one of the Ferocious Phoenixes. Oh, that's a lot of land, dude. All right. Flamewake Phoenix. This is cool, man. This is really cool. Actually, we should keep this one back. Oh, we can't. Yeah. That's cool, but the Archfiend is probably gonna get them there this turn. They go ahead, they take all the damage. They didn't even decide to block. It probably means we're just dead here. Go for the throat. Oh, Archfiend bottom ability. Dude, I'm like, are we okay, actually? But no. I always forget Archfiend bottom ability. Dude, that card is a beast. Holy cow. Oh my goodness. So, you can't keep Flamewake Phoenix as a blocker. When I was originally swinging in, I was like, wait a minute, I should keep that back so we actually have a blocker in the air. No, it has to attack each combat if able. So it's a very similar concept to just not being able to block. But how cool was this, man? That was really cool. If Mauler... I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be a way through there. Maybe if we saw less mana. We saw 8 land in the top 17. There's definitely a bit of a flood when you only have 20 land. But even then, we drew a lot of that pretty late anyways. There wasn't going to be too much to deal with the double Archfiends. So if the opponent only saw 1 Archfiend, I think that would have been looking pretty good for us, man. Even if they would have dropped a Sheoldred or something to get some extra life gain. What do you guys think? That was cool. I'm actually very pleased with that first game because we got to do a lot of the Phoenix things right out the gate. All right, we keep it. See if that Burst Lightning hits an important creature here, like a Llanowar Elves. Haha! I'll take that down. That's definitely worth taking down. Okay, grab the prize. We just play a Phoenix. If we see a 3rd mana, then grab the prize is going to be terrific on turn 3. But Feather Phoenix not going to stick around. More Golgari colors from the opponent is definitely a shame. We can easily find the 3rd mana. Oh, but we won't have it though. Probably just play the Phoenix then. The Bloodfeather Phoenix. Totally fine. It doesn't have haste. Start with the swing, see what happens. Go for the throat. Okay. It's nice when we don't really mind too much that our creatures are hitting the grave. Definitely going to need to see that third. Maybe Crescendo? Maybe it was grab the prize anyways to find it. There's our third. That's great news, but... yeah. Grab the prize and send the Flamewake Phoenix, right? Deals 2, then we take this action. Swing for 4 in the air. Dude, how cool is this so far? This is really neat. Alright, Scavenging Ooze. Dude, that is awful, bro. Bro, get out of my graveyard. No, my Phoenix. Okay. Blazing Crescendo, see what we see. It's going to be mana. So we have Lightning Strike. We could pop the Ooze, or we just go all to the opponent's face is probably best thing to do here. Probably creature-wise then too, right? Over the grab the prize. We wait for the burn. Opponent's down to 7. Yeah, we wait to get the last few points through with burn, and I hope that's okay. Okay, they do find a swamp off the map token. Got a couple here for removal. Go for the throat. Now they go last mana Ooze, get rid of the Bloodfeather Phoenix. It's really good for them. The Graveyard Hate is really, really good for them. They go back up to 8. Sazacap's Brew. So we have 3 here, 3 there, and then grab the prize, right? So grab the prize can get rid of anything. It doesn't really matter. The other grab the prize is fine. We do find more mana here too, which doesn't really matter based on this hand. Then we swing for 3 in the air, and then 3 with the Lightning Strike. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Really cool. Getting some revenge against Golgari, but that time around they did get Archfiend of the Dross down. Archfiend is going to be devastating against this deck list regardless. Like, no matter what. And we see a lot of Archfiend nowadays, too, so that's definitely something to consider. Alright, let's keep the ball rolling. I'm very pleased so far. I think it's really neat. Alright, opponent, what you bringing to the table, buddy? Okay. I don't like only one Phoenix in hand, but I'm going to keep it. We have ways to trade out, right? Okay, sewers. Okay. Okay, second Phoenix. That's good news. If we see our third, we might hold back. Probably not. We still have a turn 2 Bloodfeather Phoenix. That would be worthwhile. Maybe run it into a counterspell or something. And that would be a really bad counterspell for them. Duress. Crap. Alright, take whatever you want, opponent. Because I'm not going to play Burst Lightning just for the sake of getting it out of our hand. I think they have better things to take. So, we'll see. Also, if we're patient with Burst Lightning, then it could help us bring our Phoenixes back later. That's a tough decision. For real. They actually grabbed Monstrous Rage. That's a good one. I think any of those would have been pretty decent, though, right? I think so. Alright. Flamewake Phoenix. Cool. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and get Bloodfeather Phoenix down. There's a good chance of seeing a third mana, right? With 20 land in here, 51 remaining. 51 cards remaining, 18 of those are lands. Well, maybe not. We might have to go for the draw on the Brew or the grab the prize. At the very least, if we go the Brew and gift a fish, then we get a little extra damage through that way. I want to save the damage on the grab the prize. Unholy Annex. Guys, I keep doing this where I'm confusing Anoint with Affliction with Unholy Annex. And I saw that and I almost said Anoint with Affliction. And I don't know why I'm doing that. It's very weird. Okay, we did see our third. We might be okay just to play the other Bloodfeather Phoenix. we might be okay. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Because anoint with affliction. Listen to me, guys. Unholy Annex. Yeah, Archfiend. I was gonna say Unholy Annex means Archfiend exists, and that's gonna be a problem, dude. That's gonna be a big problem. Not seeing the mana's rough. We'll find mana on the Brew and go from there. And I think we just have to swing into the Archfiend anyways. Here, have a fish. Have a fish, buddy. And the discard is Flamewake Phoenix, because we're going to find mana. Crap, we didn't find the mana. No. All right. They're going to be gaining 2 every turn. Archfiend's going to be swinging every turn. We just swing. We just go for it. Unfortunately, guys, I don't think there's going to be a terrific way through here. And if we hold back the Bloodfeather Phoenixes, they can't block anyways. At the very least, now we have a chance of bringing back the Bloodfeather Phoenix. We see some mana. We could go grab the prize, right? We could pay the extra, bring the Phoenix back. But we're super duper dead here. Go down to 7, and funny enough, they don't even need to play a creature since we gave them a fishy. Blazing Crescendo, that could help us find mana, or we could go grab the prize. And that doesn't work the way I want it to, though, right now. So I guess the Brew is the best option again, unless they have spot removal for the Bloodfeather Phoenix, which is probably pretty likely, right? I'll get rid of Phoenix check. It doesn't really matter here because we're going to die next turn. It is going to be spot removal for the Bloodfeather Phoenix. Well, crap, dude. Hey, we found the mana. Let's go. We have the Burst Lightning open for the opponent's turn. Hopefully we get some games here where we're not up against Archfiend of the Dross. Like that, well, the middle Golgari match, right? But I bet that Golgari deck list had Archfiend in it too, so. We'll let them go ahead, swing on in. We'll pop the Fairy Mastermind. Maybe they could counterspell. Actually, power up the Restless Reef too. Go for that full swing. Haha! Burst Lightning. Good game, opponent. Yeah, the middle game, if that Golgari deck list did find Archfiend, I think, yeah, Archfiend's going to be a big problem, dude. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, yeah. If that middle game, if they did find it, it would have been a problem either way, right? Either way. Even though it was, I feel like we still could have pushed through if it was only one Archfiend. It still would have been a big, big problem. Let's keep the ball rolling. You know what I want to see? I want to go up against some aggro deck lists today too. I also want to make sure we see our 3rd mana on time. That was a pretty sketchy one. We might need to consider 21 mana, guys. But most of the time, keeping a 2-land opener with this deck list should be fine. Like this totally looks good. All right. Oh no, Spyglass Siren. Okay. Right, they can keep their Siren. I'm going to be patient with that Burst Lightning. Another Monstrous Rage. If we see our 3rd, that's going to be a theme today, isn't it? Yeah, we need to consider 21 mana, but there's going to be moments where we see too much mana as we're trading things out too. Like we don't want to see double land off of a lot of our card draw. Well, sometimes we might. Especially like in that last game where I said we were just looking for mana. So double land in that last game would have been pretty good, I guess. Okay, they got 2 open. Grab the prize. Probably just play the Phoenix again though, right? Let's see what they do to our Bloodfeather Phoenix first. Flood Pit's Drowner. Up target creature. Okay. So that's probably okay. And we just play the other Phoenix, I guess. So some Dimir tempo, I suppose. Come on, third mana. Come on, third mana. So if we didn't have the second Phoenix, I would have went for the grab the prize that turn to try to find the third anyways. But since we had the second Phoenix, it just seems a little better just to establish it onto the board. What do you guys think? Or should we have traded out regardless there? Also, it could have been a counterspell, which would have been devastating. A counterspell and grab the prize would be really, really bad. So yeah, just going Phoenix makes a lot of sense, because if they counterspell the Bloodfeather Phoenix, goes to the grave, we have a chance of bringing it back later on. Actually, they just banish Bloodfeather Phoenix for the turn, guys. Wow. And go for the map token. They find another Siren off the top. All right, decent tempo from the opponent. We're in desperate need of more mana, guys. We're going to go for it. Grab the prize. Probably need to keep the other grab the prize. Monstrous Rage, of course, can help push extra damage through, but I'm not convinced that we're going to have creatures to put that onto against Dimir. So there we go. Okay, we do find some mana here. We can keep the Burst Lightning open, or we can actually just go Monstrous Rage for the turn, which is probably what we do while we can. Okay, get the opponent down to 13. Now we're talking. Yeah, 20 mana might be too greedy, but honestly, it should be fine. We'll see. That's one of those more testing required things. Glass Siren. Plenty of blockers in the sky. If they want to have blockers in the sky, right? So going on to the already buffed Spyglass Siren. They find a Fabloom Trick. It's a fairy deck list, guys. Wait a minute. Never mind. Never mind. I got confused. The Spyglass Siren is a Siren Pirate. I was like, oh, fairies. Oh, Mockingbird. Okay. Okay. Crap? Crap, dude? They're going to have flying blockers for days? Okay, they are going to... Oh, no. I was going to say it. They're going to spread... the counters wide, but they decide not to. They go for a good swing. These are going to be some great tempo plays, I would say, from the opponent for the next couple turns, since they'll be able to keep open the Fabloom Trick. So grab the prize again, discard the Bloodfeather Phoenix. We could find more mana too. Put the other Monstrous Rage. Yep, more mana. Beautiful. We pay the 1 here. And we swing. See where they block. They could chump, or they could try double block onto the 2/2 Bloodfeather Phoenix. Either way, it's going to be Monstrous Rage onto the 2/2. They try the double block. They risk it. It was good for us. Very good for us. Bring them down to 5. Now, both of our Bloodfeather Phoenixes have Trample, which is huge news. Either way, though, we have 5 in hand, so they need some counter spells, I would say. We could probably start with the swing. We're gonna try to just burn. They go Fabloom Trick, and now we try the burn, because they only have 1 open, and Spell Pierce is no longer in Standard. As far as I know. As far as I know. No, I'm pretty sure Spell Pierce was in Standard. I think I would have played with it. Oh, man. Cool. Cool stuff. I like the opponent's deck list there, too. I guess it could have been Dimir Flyers or something along those lines. Dimir Tempo is more likely. I guess the Dimir Tempo that rocks the Flyers is pretty effective, right? All right, guys. How cool is this one, huh? Well, I have you here in the middle of the video. Make sure you check out that description where we have that Discord link, as well as that Patreon link, too, if you're interested in supporting the channel that way. And then also, if you like the video, make sure you actually drop it a like. And if you enjoy the channel, then consider subscribing as well. It really does help out the channel, so thank you, guys. We go first. No creatures in hand. Womp, womp. Wait, we have our 3rd mana. That's good, right, guys? All right, we'll mulligan. We got to look for some creatures. Huh. Probably the double Crescendo. We should probably get rid of one of those. I was thinking the double Crescendo could really help us out, but if Phoenix Chick doesn't survive turn 2 and we ditch the grab the prize, then we're going to be very sad because we won't have any targets for the Crescendo to see more off the top. Also, turn 2 Crescendo might not be the greatest. Although it is until the end of your next turn, so. Right, the opponent's tapped out. We just do this, see what we see on top. It's going to be a Crescendo. Cool. Now, Phoenix Chick has a huge target on his back because they know we have second Crescendo, which means they want to make sure we don't have a creature to target. However, they don't know that we don't have any extra creatures in our hand right now, so that's worth noting, I guess. That's silly. We probably, if Phoenix Chick sticks around, we probably start with the Crescendo, even at risk of a spot removal. But Rakdos, depending on what style of Rakdos, I mean, cut downs, go for the throats, everything. All the removal, man. Yeah, I'll stick to it. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens here. Because in our hand, realistically, we don't have too much else, right? It's going to be nowhere to run. So if we would have went grab the prize, we wouldn't have had the Crescendo for the turn. So playing around a ghost there, I don't know, man. It didn't make too much sense to me to not try it, right? Of course, as almost a guaranteed spot removal. So wasting the Crescendo could have worked. Phoenix Chick still would have died. Grab the prize could have found us something else. The opponent doesn't play blue here, so that's great news. It's not like Grixis. Because I don't want to run any of this out into counter spells. Flamewake Phoenix is terrific. That's good. I'll actually just go for it. I'll go for all the excess damage right here, right now. Yeah, while we have it, we go for it. Bring the opponent down to 5. Grab the prize. Could help us find a little bit more next turn. We're going to need it, right? But, yeah, we saw things in a bit of an awkward order. Maybe we could have mulliganed down to 5, but probably not, as that is equally as risky as keeping a decent-looking 6-card hand. Or a decent enough looking, right? Invasion, so that's a sacrifice, right? Alright, grab the prize, has to find us something good here. So, like, mana off the top, totally fine. And anything off the top, really. Oh, Ghost Vacuum. Oh, no, guys, our poor Phoenix. Oh, no. All right. Ooh. Ooh. Crap. Okay, I actually don't want to lose a creature. We're going to get the Mauler down. I was trying to think, is it actually just worthwhile seeing another 2 off the top? Get 2 through with the grab the prize. They go down to 8, right? I think just establishing the creature is a little bit better. Ghost Vacuum is going to clean up any Phoenix that we have in the grave. So at that point, too, it would be better. Maybe we can get an extra Phoenix in the grave off the grab the prize and bring it back, right? But no, they're going to keep Ghost Vacuum open regardless. That way, at instant speed, they'll be able to target whatever we target. So I think we have to consider our graveyard Phoenixes just goners. Go for the swing. They can flip this into the Ashen Reaper, which I suppose we let them flip because we're in danger. All right, that counts as a cast. So the Mauler goes up to a 3/3, which is pretty cool. I think we're being held up on the Ghost Vacuum. I think if it was spot removal, they would have just done it, right? But I guess it depends. Since we're only in red, it's not too much of a danger just to pass it back to us, unless it's spot removal that cares about power, in which case we could draw something that, or a toughness, I mean. We could draw something that boosts the toughness. Actually going to be an Eaten Alive. Aww. I'm sad, guys. Exiles pretty well. Let's see if the Grab the Prize can do something for us. Again, though, if we see another creature, we probably just play the creature. It's mana. All right, grab the prize. We're not poking the 2 through, but we're seeing more off the top. We're trading out 2 cards that aren't doing anything for 2 cards that could potentially do something. But I think we're in danger, dude. Ooh, Lightning Strike is not bad. I'm going to keep the other mountain in case we see more of our discard draws. We're going to keep the Lightning Strike open too. We're probably going to hit their face. Yeah, they want to grab the Phoenix Chick here. Phoenix Chick is a pretty hard one to bring back from the grave, but still the grab for the Ghost Vacuum. They don't have any creatures in their grave yet. They find their 5th mana. So 1 more mana, Ghost Vacuum can plop our Phoenixes onto their board. Invasion. Okay. That probably means we clean up the Ashen Reaper with the Lightning Strike, because we can't let them flip this. Because it has 5 defense, they got 5 on the board. Oh, crap. Crap, guys. They're probably going to full swing at that Invasion, expecting burn. Urbrask Forge putting in the work. What about their Forsaken? Okay, we got a little lucky, but we are going down to 11, and we're still stuck with between a rock and a hard place for real. The Invasion still going down to 3. For all we know, this could be a deck list that also runs Lightning Strike, especially since they're rocking Battles. Is really cool, actually. All right. I think we have 1 more turn. It's mana. Let's let the opponent play this on out. They can power up the Restless Fence. They have Forge going to 5, so that's going to be a 5-1 swinging in. That's only 9 damage, though. Unless maybe they'll have some burn. Or maybe some burn on this turn, too. So Ghost Vacuum, they just go ahead clean up the Lightning Strike, because they might as well exile something from the grave. That does make sense. With the Invasions, yeah, they don't... So far, they didn't show that they have any of their own creatures that they wouldn't mind picking up with Ghost Vacuum. So far. I'd actually love to see more of the opponent's deck list, man. So since they don't have lethal here, they can actually go... Oh, they're just going to go all to face. They could have went 5 here and then flipped the Invasion of Tark here. But all to face also makes sense because, yeah, we go down to 2, so we're in danger pretty much no matter what then. No Thunder Maw required. A Bloodfeather Phoenix. Okay, wow. Well, we'll play the Phoenix to show that we have all the Phoenix packed in, right? And then pass it back again. We're going to let them play it out. You guys always feel free to skip ahead throughout the video. Down in the description, we have timestamps at the bottom of the video. If you mouse over, you can see the chapters there too. I like to let the opponents play it out when they have it on the board already. I've been conceding a lot more recently, though. We've been going up against some control matches that just, they don't prove to me that they have what it takes to actually end the game without us just drawing 40 cards and decking ourselves out, you know what I mean? Yeah, like the blue-white control, sometimes it takes them forever to get their win condition out, for example, and depending on what deck list we're playing, I want to get as many games in as possible. This is one of those deck lists, guys. First of all, might be the last game of the evening. Second of all, I think we can end on a high note here. I really like this deck list so far. Couple banners. We go first. Okay. This is one of those ones where if we don't see our 3rd, we're in danger. But I have high hopes. Let's see it. Let's see it, guys. We got Burst Lightning open too. Should be good. planes. Ew, I'm gonna be patient with the burst lightning. A third Patchwork Banner, guys. Please, third mana, please. Please, game. Third mana off the top. Carrot cake, yep. I said ew for a reason. I saw that planes. I knew it was coming. So mono white mid-range could be really bad with Sunfall exiling our Phoenixes, but first of all, we need to get them on the board. So third mana. Oh no, I should have mulliganed. Crap. Oh no. Swing for 1. We let it go because I'm going to be very greedy with that burst lightning, guys. I am. Okay, that's something, I guess. That's something. Well, the good news is mono white mid-range will let us play long enough to eventually find our third mana. The bad news is they're going to establish quite the board state by that time, you know? Carrot cake, extra bunny rabbit. Let's see if that caretaker's talent is right on time here. And they could still swing for 2. We go down to 17. Yeah, Bloodfeather Phoenix can't block anyways. And they can't block it. Since it's flying. Oh, was not a caretaker's talent. That's probably good news. Grab the prize. It's also pretty good here. We're going to start with that. Get rid of one of the banners, even though, honestly, all the banners could have been pretty cool. Could have been. We actually need to be able to play them first, though. Okay, here we go. Yeah, having the Flamewake Phoenixes still in hand, because what ends up happening if you discard them is you need creatures on the board, and with instant speed spot removal, but definitely being a thing. Elspeth Smite exiles, dude. That's rough. That's really rough. All right, well, if it's not an Elspeth Smite, then it's a Get Lost. Okay. I guess we try it, right? Oh? Oh? We put too much of a target on his back? I hope it's just a Get Lost. All right, it's a Get Lost. It goes to the grave. All right. Dude, could you guys imagine if we pull this back? 4th mana. Oh, welcome. Okay. Nice. Okay, Lightning Strike is not terrible, is it? So, Patchwork Banner. I'd love to get these down, but it's probably just Flamewake Phoenix for the turn and see what happens to it. Kind of awkward though, isn't it? Maybe if we go banner, and maybe if we take the time to set some stuff up for like a couple turns in a row of banner, for example, maybe our Phoenix will be chunky enough once it comes time to swing on in with a bunch of them. So yeah, trying to set something up, I guess, and hopefully making it so that way it's hasty enough to get around to Sunfall. Carrot cake, that's a lot of life gain though, guys. It really is. You're going up to 24. I don't know how we're going to get 24 through in, or 24 damage in with one swing is what my brain is trying to say there. We want it with one swing, of course, because as soon as we pass it back, our Phoenix are going to go bye-bye. Burst Lightning, okay. Maybe we keep it simple for the turn. We just bring back our one Phoenix, get a good swing in the air, and we still have the other Phoenix waiting, right? We could go, that means we could go, yeah, we can establish the other banner, call Phoenix. This is silly, guys. This is silly. Burst Lightning, opponent's face. It's good damage. It really is. Bring them down to 15. Now, if we can pull off a surprise Flamewake Phoenix, because our Bloodfeather Phoenix is a 4/4, if we get something to discard these Flamewakes, grab the prize, something, anything like that, right? We have a lot of them in here. Sunfall number 1. They get some card draw here. So just going the 1 Phoenix made a lot of sense. It really did, and we just showcased that beautifully. So maybe we want to do that again. Just 1 Phoenix, you find Sunfall number 2, that's fine, you know what I mean? If we go double Phoenix, it's 8 getting through. We do have Lightning Strike, Burst Lightning in hand, which actually isn't enough as they're still at 15, and they could find more life gain too. So we're gonna go map token. We have 2 open. Burst Lightning and Monstrous Rage. We probably go Monstrous Rage then for the turn while we have a creature that's not getting hit by a... that's not getting hit by an Elspeth Smite. This is crazy, guys. Keep Burst Lightning open. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Dude. We might pull this off. We really might. Beza. Yeah, more life gain. Yeah. Oh, man. They got 3 open. I'm on the edge of my seat. Flamewake Phoenix is out of here. We go back up to 15. That's good news, at least. Exile. Okay. Okay, guys. Looks like they're not going to power up the incubator. They're going to keep 2 open, and it's probably going to be 2 open for a very specific purpose here. To instant speed spot remove our Flamewake Phoenix, right? I'm going to be patient with the Burst Lightning again, and I hope that's okay. We kept it open for a reason. So Mauler isn't bad. But it doesn't have haste. We have 4 open after the fact. We'll have Lightning Strike. Alright, so we can go map token again. And try to get 5 through here, maybe. It's actually just going to be more mana, which isn't great. Getting the Mauler down could be okay. It is going to be not on my watch, guys. It's another exile ability. Brutal. Brutal stuff. We are going to go ahead and get the Mauler down then. And doing that before combat could have been good because we could have got some extra counters onto it. But Mauler's not going to do too much here on the board state without trample. We already played 2 Monstrous Rage this game too. It does become a pretty good blocker though. Another carrot cake. Got a lot of life gain from the opponent, a lot of spot removal. Exile spot removal is worst case scenario against a deck list like this too, so I can't believe we're kind of like pulling this back a little bit, but we're still in danger as the opponent's keeping their hand nice and stocked up very effectively as well. Oh man. Exile target artifact, enchantment, or creature with power 4 or greater. Well, I don't think it can just come down to burn. We need a little bit more here. They go ahead, power up. We take 8 for the turn, and the opponent has lethal on the board if we don't find something. Something off the top. It's mana. No. Okay, we'll let the opponent play it on out. Dude, I think we could have gotten there, honestly. I do. Things just didn't work out in our favor this time round. The extra life gain was way too much for us to keep up with, especially when they had spot removal right when they needed it to, which is, of course, what these deck lists are trying to do, right? That's what all the extra card draw is in there for. The welcome and the caretaker's talent, given everything that the opponent needed on time. an excessive amount of exile spot removal was really bad for us too. Especially since like exile on Bloodfeather Phoenix, that would have been something that dropped a good game. Exile on the Bloodfeather Phoenix, that could have been something that we actually brought back with all that extra burn that we had at the end there. Oh man, that really could have gone our way. I believe that. Guys, 33% deck win rate. I'm not convinced that it would stick that low if we kept playing. I'm really not convinced. Look, we're 45 minutes in. We're going to go over the deck list again. How cool is this? This is really neat. It didn't perform very well today, so that is definitely noteworthy, where we could try to trade some things out. And I think number one is we actually won 21 mana. There were way too many games where we were like, oh crap, we need to see our third. And we had to wait till like turn 5. I don't know. We might have had to wait till turn 6 in some of those games to actually find our third mana. We could drop a Patchwork Banner for that 21st, but banners in here to boost our Phoenixes, and the extra ramp on the banner is also going to be pretty good with needing so much extra just red sources to bring back Phoenixes from the grave. That was a lot of graveyard hate in those matches too, man. A lot of exile, and then even the deck lists that weren't exiling on the spot removal were still exiling from our graveyard too. And that's kind of the meta too, right? Like those weren't like extreme cases of I can't believe they're running this deck. How, like, we never see this deck, right? No, that was just like, we always see this, we know what we're up against, and there's a lot of exile anyways. And then outside of that, when you're not running into exile, you're running into a lot of Archfiends. And when you're not running into a lot of Archfiends, you're running into a lot of just super fast, aggressive aggro that you need to somehow keep up pace with. I'm impressed by the deck list. I think we can keep up pace, especially if we go first. That being said, if there's ever an emergency where we need to block, this deck list is not going to be able to do that at all. I think the card we drop for the 21st mana is going to be the Sazacap's Brew. And that's because you're still relying on having a creature on the board, gifting the fish, and targeting your creature, and they spot remove the creature. Now you just gifted them a fish for nothing. At least you'll still get the draw. But yeah, I think it's this. I think the grab the prize is more valuable, even at sorcery speed, especially when paired with the Bloodfeather Phoenix. This is really neat, man. I can't stop talking about how cool this deck list is. That being said, it's probably going to be pretty janky. But also, that being said, I don't think it's janky enough to deserve the 33% that we saw today. I think if we kept playing, we'll balance it out around a 50% and probably a little under a 50% win rate because that's the jank side of it, you know? But I don't think it deserves the 33%. I think if we kept playing, we'd win more and actually balance it out a little bit. Neat stuff, man. The double crescendos could potentially, or quadruple crescendos could potentially be double crescendos instead, and just opt for a couple more pieces of anything, like something based on your meta, right? I think that the 4 Blazing Crescendos might have been a little bit greedy overall, and maybe just going something a little cheaper too, like a what are card names? Send help. Card names. Dies. There we go. Turn inside out. Okay, that's how I find all the cards, guys. It takes me at least 2 years to learn card names. So, all right, turn inside out. There's also +3/+0, so you could potentially go turn inside out onto a Phoenix chick, for example, and that now has 4 power, ferocious for the Flamewake Phoenix, right? But then also now if Phoenix chick dies, you'll get the Manifest Dread, and Manifest Dread could also help you plug more Phoenix into the grave potentially too. So actually really like that. I'm gonna go 1 turn inside out and maybe go 3 crescendos. Let me look at what that looks like real quick here. So when you add one-ofs to a deck list, right, you have to think like first of all, is it necessary to the entirety of the deck list? So no, it's not, right? that's when you would want more than one. Number two, if you see this one of, is it going to be worthwhile on whatever particular board state you have? Huh. Probably not. Probably not. We'll probably keep the Crescendo. Definitely consider turn inside out, though. Crescendo costing the 1 extra. Well, now that we went up to 21 mana, too, that'll help. That'll help. And find more mana off the Crescendo, too, right? Just finding more off the top, especially when you're ramping with the Patchwork Banners, too. All right. I talked myself out of it after looking at it, but this is, like, definitely something to consider. Something else that boosts by 3, but it's cheaper. Maybe we could drop 2 Crescendos, go up a couple turn inside outs. But again, that's the concept of the Crescendo seeing more off the top. And this deck list wants to do that. So we're going to keep the quadruple Crescendos for now. But that is one of the cards on the chopping block right now. Potentially drop 1 or 2 of those and go up whatever you need for your meta as well. What about the do not craft list, guys? It's definitely janky, but is this one that deserves to never be crafted? Potentially. The Phoenixes are pretty expensive and we don't really get to see them very often. I haven't seen anyone play with the Flamewake Phoenix. Let me know if you've seen anything cool with this yet. Bloodfeather Phoenix is very rarely seen. Guys, let me know if you've ever seen Bloodfeather Phoenix outside of this channel. Let me know, and that's a serious question. But that's a rare, right? And then the Mauler's rare too, but this could be interesting in other builds as well. I actually really like the ability. The problem is, as you guys saw, the opponent's playing things, they don't really care that this is a 6/6 all of a sudden. They just don't care. They're going to kill it with something very efficient. So, that's a rare too. Other than that, we have a mixture of commons, uncommons, commons, common. Wow. Crescendo, Grab the Prize, Lightning Strike, and the Brew is all commons, and the Burst Lightning's common too. So, I mean, it's kind of budget friendly, but the rares is a lot. And if you're missing any of the Phoenix, then that kind of defeats the purpose of running the Phoenix build too. So I don't know. You could try like a craft a little bit less thing depending on what your collection looks like, but it's probably not worth it then because it is going to be a pretty janky version of mono red. But boy, was that fun. And it's just so cool, man. I literally couldn't stop talking about how cool it was, how fun it was to just like bring those Phoenix back from the grave and whatnot. I really got to revisit this again in the future. Maybe in some upcoming sets at some point, we'll get even more Phoenix to try out in here too. So, oh, for the craft a little bit less, right? There are the Lamplight Phoenixes too. So if you had a couple of the Lamplight Phoenix, but you didn't have the Maulers, for example, that'd be perfect. Just drop the Maulers, go up a couple Phoenix. Don't actually go out of your way to craft these extra rares. Yeah, just keep an eye on your collection at that point, right? Lamplight Phoenix, when it dies, you can exile it and collect evidence for it. If you do, you can return it to the battlefield tapped. So what ends up happening in a deck list like this, where you really don't want to discard it to grab the prize, because it's only when it dies. It's not when it's in the grave or anything fancy. So you need the Phoenix on the board established already. And then when you're collecting evidence, I hope you're not collecting evidence on your other Phoenix in the grave, because you obviously want those in there because you can easily bring them back at some point. Outside of that, it's a Phoenix that fits the theme. So. All right, guys, enough rambling, huh? If you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.